Actor and activist Richard Gere is on Parliament Hill today. You might know him from such films as Pretty Woman, An Officer and a Gentleman, which is where I first saw him, Primal Fear, and many more. But he's also been advocating for the Tibetan people for decades and is a longtime supporter of the Dalai Lama. Well, Richard Gere joins me here in the foyer of the House of Commons. Richard Gere, you picked a heck of a day.
I see these pictures of me with glasses.
Yeah, look at that.
The cataracts removed and I don't wear glasses anymore.
All right, well, I think I got them because I've been wearing them since I got this show. You picked a heck of a day to come on Parliament Hill with all the drama behind.
I didn't realize it, all the drama going on.
Are you getting time and reception to talk about the issue of Tibet with Canadian parliamentarians?
Everybody seems very interested. There's, I'm showing a movie tonight, too, that I had produced. Kind of a biography of His Holiness, a testament to him, but also, I think, a corrective on how crazy our world is right now.
It's not been a stable time. Certainly, there's a lot of great power tension between your country and China, and it's sort of disrupting a lot of things. And as
my country and your country.
Well, yeah, we feel like kind of collateral damage on that one, though. You know.
I don't know. No one can figure out with Trump who's collateral and who's straight on.
Right.
I don't think he can figure it out.
But on the issue of Tibet and the message you're bringing to parliamentarians here, I mean, we heard a lot about this, and we had an inquiry into foreign interference in our elections and transnational repression by the Chinese government, various diaspora groups, you know, protesters for democracy being targeted by China. Tibet gets overshadowed by concerns about Taiwan, it seems, more often now. I mean, what message are you trying to drive home to lawmakers in Canada about Tibet tonight?
Human rights matter. It matters what we do and we say in the world. Rule of law means something. And Tibet, the short version is that after Mao chased out Chiang Kai-shek to Taiwan, with the encouragement of Stalin, he next invaded Tibet. Mm-hmm. So this is 1949, 1950. And since then, it's just become more and more brutal. In 1959, the Dalai Lama narrowly escaped into exile, into India, where he still lives. And it was just his 90th birthday in July of this year. But what an extraordinary life. And I think through exploring his life and what Tibetan culture means, which he is kind of the avatar of, it's what the world needs right now. A sense of wisdom, a sense of compassion, a sense of how interconnected we are as people, but as nations as well. And then we have points of view, this authoritarian point of view, this kind of America First craziness, MAGA craziness, which kind of disallows what science tells us, that we are deeply connected and we mean something very important to each other.
So is this visit here, is this a call to action or to provide this story as an example to follow?
I think everything is a call to action with the Tibetans. The Chinese get crazy. And why? Because this is complete compassion, nonviolence, and inclusion from the Tibetan side. All they want is their culture. And the Chinese have done everything they can to destroy it, erase it. And the most recent is, unfortunately, something that happened here and happened in the US too, is the taking the children away. Taking the children away to boarding schools, erasing their history, erasing their language, taking that away from them, giving them a false sense of who they are, what it means to be a Tibetan, and even to disavow their own families.
We've seen that with Russia and Ukraine as well, right?
Yeah.
The forceful abduction of Ukrainian children.
Also the rewriting of history.
Right.
You know, from the Russian side, there's no Ukraine. There never was a Ukraine. There's no Ukraine language. There's no Ukraine history. The same, very similar. Of course, Tibet is actually the civilization is much more ancient than the Chinese, and especially the Han Chinese, which is very recent.
When you arrived on Parliament Hill today for your meetings and the reception you hosted, you had the, I'm going to say, misfortune of walking in through the door where my colleagues are always staked out with the cameras waiting for parliamentary. I was one of the, yes, I was in the crowd. I was in the crowd.
Horrible people harassing me.
Well, you were asked what, my colleague Stephanie Levitz, who's going to be sitting here in just a little bit, she asked you how you felt about Canada restarting relationships with China. Because obviously the cause of Tibet is important. China is, an actor in that particular drama. And you said we should all be talking to each other.
Yeah, we should be. And I have no problem with everyone talking to the Chinese, but you have to have your eyes wide open. Mm-hmm. The Chinese have a 100-year plan that they're probably 50 years ahead of already, because they're built on taking over vacuum space. As the US pulls out, the Chinese take it over. If there's a conflict within a country, they empower themselves to insert themselves into it. The Chinese have a long game here, and anyone who's made an agreement with them, expecting that there is going to be something to gain on their side, has been abused in the process. And we can see this clearly over the last 10, 20, 30 years. The kind of havoc that has been caused by these Chinese agreements.
You said, though, when asked about that, you also said you were more worried about what's happening in the relationship between our two countries because of this disruption.
Special relationship between the U.S. and Canada.
Well, the pivot to China is kind of to diversify economically, right? Because it exposed the integration and over-reliance.
Right? The U.S., of course, you've got to look for other markets. And I caution everyone to not think this is a definitive moment. This will pass. Trumpism will pass. And this very special relationship between Canada and the U.S. will come back. And this sense of we have a mutual responsibility to each other, which is good. And there's a basic trust, a basic kindness, a basic respect for each other. So this will go away. Trump will go away. This mentality will go away. But in the meantime, if these relationships, which will be one-sided with China, are allowed to gain roots, it'll be very difficult to change them back to where they were.
But I wonder, I think a lot of Canadians will hope you're right, that Trumpism will pass and things will go back.
Guaranteed.
But
because I know the other Republicans, they're just terrified of this guy. It's not that they believe in what he says.
But you are what your actions say you are, right?
He's an incredibly good manipulator.
Mm-hmm. But he is, Congress is not, Congress can end the tariffs tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's not doing it, right?
Well, maybe the Supreme Court.
Sure.
The Supreme Court is looking at that right now. Does the president have the ability to do that under law? And even, which is his Supreme Court right now, is on the fence about that.
But I wonder, though, about your optimism, because you look at it from afar, and we follow it every day.
I would prefer to be.
Look, I always, it's always better to be hopeful than afraid.
By being a pessimist.
But you look at what has happened with the Republican Party. It went from small C conservative to kind of big C cult when he took over.
Yeah.
And if J.D. Vance is the next guy,
basically those good people are still there. Mm-hmm. They're just hiding right now. They're waiting for him to get off the stage, and that will happen at some point.
So
and the way he's been behaving, maybe mentally he's not there. Physically, clearly he's not there. So we don't know how long, if he can even last out the 4-year term.
Right. Well,
you looked at me like,
look, we're only like 8 or 9 months into this thing, Richard. This is a lot of time left to go, right? And a lot can happen. Look, you said you're going to show a film tonight on the Dalai Lama, and you've had your meeting with parliamentarians.
Who are terrific people, I must say.
They're pretty good.
Terrific.
When you strip away the partisanship, there's real good people.
I was watching the debate going on there today, and a lot of that is brinksmanship. It's fun.
Yep.
They're having fun going through this process. But I saw they're basically good people, and they want the best for their constituency. They want the best for Canada, and in the sense that I was dealing with them on Tibet, human rights, the basic goodness of the world we want to live in with our kids and our grandkids. They were on the same page with me. So I actually am having a great time here.
But if there's one sort of message you want them to take away from your visit here, because it is this, I don't know if it's fake drama or real drama, because we have the vote coming up in, I don't know, half an hour. We'll find out, whether we go back into an election or whether we continue on to the next inflection point. What's the big thing you want them to take away from the message you deliver, from the film you're showing? And I saw people like Sherap here from the Tibetan community.
Ultimately, it's responsibility. Is that I think we all have a vision of the world we want to live in and how we want to behave with each other. The day-to-day, moment-to-moment world that we can actually live in.
I know. It's getting harder, though, isn't it? Right?
It is getting harder.
Like alliances and partnerships are fraying.
Our responsibility to make that happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen on its own. And the bad guys, and I include our own president in that, the bad guys, it's him or it's Putin or it's Xi Jinping or Netanyahu or whoever it may be. They want to divide us. They want to make us feel powerless so that, of course, they can control the situation. And it's obvious the kind of money that these people make. The deal that Trump is making today with Saudi Arabia, it's astonishing what his family is doing. But anyhow, the message for all of us always is responsibility. If we want the world to be that world, we also share a very similar vision of that for our kids and our grandkids. We have to make it. We have to stand up for that. We have to elect leaders who share that vision and will carry that vision forward for us.
There is, to be optimistic for a second, because I know that's
I'm
just
sorry,
like this.
it hurts you
No,
to
no,
be
no,
that.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't. I prefer it, actually. But there does seem to be this realignment on the geopolitical stage of a lot of the middle powers banding together, like recognizing that you may want the big great powers and their markets and their protection, but the reliability, it's not there. I think we've all learned that the hard way. So Canada, Sweden is coming here, the European nations. Yeah. There's new partnerships and new paradigm. That's going to be where multilateralism thrives. Yeah.
You look for real friends.
Yeah.
You know, and Trump can't be a real friend. That doesn't mean America can't be your true friend.
Right.
He was elected with less than 50% of the vote. People keep forgetting that. This wasn't a huge mandate he got. And his numbers are way down. He would not be elected today. He would not be, if we went back, he wouldn't have been elected. He certainly wouldn't be re-elected.
Right.
So this is a blip in time and space. And we can learn from this, is how did this guy get elected? How was this possible? And we see this, whether it's Orban or these other, authoritarian, very manipulative people who instill fear, and through fear they divide us, and through the division, they can take over.
Right. Well, look, Richard Gere, we've got to let you go because I know you have to show the film.
No, you don't have to let me go. There's plenty we can talk about here. There's a lot of questions you can.
Well, I mean, if you
reflect on this, you've got to let it reflect.
Well, I feel like I'm being interviewed and I'm not used to it. Well, but look, I see like James Maloney there, one of the MPs with you. If the government falls tonight because they're at your film, we need you to come back.
This is one of the good guys. I was talking about the good guys. Jim Maloney's one of the good guys.
Jim Maloney is a Toronto MP. For people at home, he is the chair of the Liberal caucus. We
met 3 years ago in Washington.
That's right.
Is that right?
And we were doing good work. We were testifying there in Congress, and he was kind of amazed of what was being said. And right there, in the center of power, what we were debating, what we were talking about, and it was very strong. And I said to him, look, I'd be happy to come up and do something in your neighborhood too. It took him 3 years, but here we are.
Right.
And he meant it, and here he is.
Here he is.
It's an important day.
All right. Well, Richard Gere, James Maloney, we want to thank you both for coming and for crashing the set. we got to let you go to watch your film. We got this vote. You can see the countdown clock.
Louise is over here too. Louise, come on in.